It's an interesting game for Liverpool. I mean, one thing that's been lost over the recent run in the cup competitions is the fact that they haven't actually won that many league games recently. I think it's about 3-9 or something along those lines. So, they've managed to be distracted a little bit by the cup form. But League Cup's out the way. They've won that. They've got at most 4 games in the FA Cup to come, so they can actually concentrate on the league now. And this is the first of one of several difficult games they've got coming up. They've got Arsenal this week, Sunderland away next week, then they've got Everton at home. And you look at those 3 games in isolation and you think they're quite difficult games, but put the one after the other. And this is where the squad that Kenny Dalglish has spoken about, the much vaunted, we've got a lot of options. This is where it's going to come into play, especially with Daniel Agger's going to be missing for 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks with a cracked rib. Jamie Carragher can come in, and Steven Gerrard after his performance against England, or his non-captaincy performance, and then he goes and suffers a little hamstring injury. I doubt he'll be playing on against Arsenal. But then Arsenal themselves have got a few injuries. I mean, there's some talk that Robin van Persie might not play. I'm not sure about that. I think if they need him to play, he will play. And Thomas Vermaelen, I think, has picked up an injury. So there's 1 or 2 for Arsenal that have got a few concerns about. I mean, Arsenal have had a bit of an odd season, really, by their standards. I mean, they've lost 8-2 at Manchester United, and then they've won 5-2 against Tottenham. They've lost 4-0 at AC Milan. So it's been very, very up and down for them. I think with Arsenal, they've got the Champions League game on Tuesday, and normally you'd say that might work in Liverpool's benefit, but Arsenal losing 4-0 in the first leg, so they would never throw the game as such. But you can see them perhaps putting more onus on the game at Anfield, simply because it's a game to get back into the Champions League. I mean, Liverpool, have just been saying, have lost a little bit of ground. Arsenal are the ones that are in 4th place now. Liverpool got the game in hand, but they're 7 points behind. So realistically, this is the game they've got to look to win. And very much like at Wembley, it's going to come down to the big game players. I mean, there'll be 1 or 2 who played against Cardiff who are probably thinking maybe I could do a little bit better. Look at Jordan Henderson, perhaps Charlie Adam, players like that. Maybe even Jose Enrique, who's been good this season, but the last couple of games has maybe seen those standards slip a little. But again, it's with no Gerrard, I think a lot's got to come down to Luis Suarez and to see what he can do, and also Andy Carroll, whether he can continue the good form that he's been showing. The only thing that he's been missing really is a few goals, and I think against an Arsenal defence that doesn't necessarily seem the strongest it's been in quite a few years, I think if this is a game where Carroll's going to get warmed up or built up for it, it would be this one. And I think it was last season, towards the beginning of last season, he scored a winner against Arsenal for Newcastle at the Emirates. So he's shown he can do it against them, and this might be a game where he does it again.